I have ever sent you. Because I'm done. This bullshit over and over and over again. I'm so sick and tired of it. And you just don't understand. But that's fine. I'm used to being second place.
I tried and tried and tried, no matter all the times you lied. I cried and cried and cried, then took me late into the night. When I lost it, I lost it, I lost it again. And you're calling, I'm not shit, I'm off one again. If I'm honest, you were toxic, just to me you're dead. Cause I lost it, lost it all again. Can't go on without you. Too many memories put behind. I can't go on without you. I think I've been pushed to the side. Where'd you go? Where am I? Where are we? I'm all alone. You refuse to help me. We've been touched so long. It's 3:30. If I had one wish, it would be yours permanently. I tried it late. I cried late into the night. When I lost it, I lost it, I lost it again. You're calling, I'm not shit, some of one again. If I'm honest, you were toxic, just to me you're dead. Cause I lost it, lost it all again. Lost it all again. I lost it, lost it all again.
Oh, voicemail. Again. Classy. I like it.
I was thinking about you, but you were way too far away. Why'd you go away? I said, why'd you go away? I have nothing left to say. I have nothing left to say. I'm stuck in my ways. I said, I am on my way. I'm too lost, don't know what I'm on. Without you, I'm gone. I'm just way too numb. So I'm on the way. 100 missed calls from yesterday. So I contemplate picking up the phone and make another mistake. So gone in space. I don't think I'll be the same. Don't come back when I have fame. At least I'm left with you to blame. Honestly, can't you see what you've done to me? Like honestly, how could you move on from me? I proved you wrong, and I lost it all. Like when I left, I lost control. It's all your fault, I'm on my own. Tell me what's going on, what's in your head? I miss your voice, miss you in bed. Constant texts you left on red. I'll never see your face again. I'm too lost, don't know what I'm on. Without you, I'm gone. I'm just way too numb. So I'm on the way. 100 missed calls from yesterday. So I contemplate picking up the phone and make another mistake. So gone in space. I don't think I'll be the same. Don't come back when I have fame. At least I'm left with you to blame. all my patience, and I really, really miss you. I can't even start to fake it. But my mama always told me you gotta fake it till you make it. But you've been on my mind, and I really can't take it, no. Say you gonna run away, but you meant from me. And I'm caught in my emotions, but you're not sorry. Said that I'm not right for you, and now it haunts me. Wish I was your ride or die. You lied, now I'm free. Run away from giving you all my time. I've been trying to find a way to run away. I've been tired of finding ways to hide, so now I need to run away. You've been lying, you got me dying inside, so now I want to run away. The back of my mind, the only place I can run and go escape to. Gotta find my escape now. Got me tired of the beat down. But I'm smiling through the pain, and I'm crying for a change, cause my head got me spinning round. Lost control and I'm falling for you. Gave my all, but now I ignore you. All the things I had in store, yeah. Now I gotta run away. Tell me to leave, but I wanted to stay. Riding solo while I skirt through the race. Sipping straight out the bottle, ain't no need to chase. And I got all these problems that I need to face, but I'm gonna run away from giving you all my time. I've been trying to find a way to run away. I've been tired of finding ways to hide, so now I need to run away. You've been lying, you got me dying inside, so now I want to run away. The back of my mind, the only place I can run and go escape to.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Game Rogue $1,500 2023 Major. My name is Llama77. I'm joined today in the Kaiser booth by the one and only Yali for today's action. Yali, how are we doing today?
I am doing fantastic. I'm really excited to actually be on the caster desk. I've been working behind the scenes quite a lot, but getting in and actually having a little bit to talk about over the games is something that's really exciting for me. We've seen a lot of games over the past few days. Well, I say few days, rather. Starting us off, yeah, there it is. That's the winner's bracket. You can see all the way through there. Hong Kong Rebels not losing a single match and putting themselves in for grand finals.
Yeah, Hong Kong Rebels obviously dominant. We've seen them in the Game Rogue Majors before. They've been dominant all throughout Rainbow Six Siege, so not a surprise that they're where they at. But like you said, a lot of games played yesterday, and even more games going to be played today to see who is going to be going up against that really tough team.
Yeah, we've got the post-liminary bracket here. We saw last night Red Right Hand versus Outlast, or sorry, we saw Outlast Gaming versus Packwatch. Outlast won that 2-0 as the final game. The game before that, obviously being Red Right Hand versus Hong Kong Rebels. That Hong Kong Rebels won out. But Red Right Hand does still have an opportunity to go against Hong Kong Rebels in the grand finals. So today we're going to be determining that in our lower bracket finals, trying to determine who's going to be up for the very end of.
Matchup to look forward to. Obviously, HK Rebels because of how dominant they have been. But obviously, like you said, it's a chance for both these teams to get into that grand finals to at least give themselves a chance to face off against that HK Rebels team. But Red Right Hand, like you talked about, coming up from that a little bit higher in that upper bracket Outlast Gaming, having to win their matchup in the previous lower bracket matchup. So both are coming off kind of different things. And here's kind of a player comparison here between two of the players.
Yeah, obviously, this is not the most in-depth graphic. That being said, it does kind of give a little bit of an idea of these are generally pretty similar players. We've got a 50-50 community vote, so we're going to have a really interesting time trying to see who's going to outperform the other one.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting because they are just that close of seeds. I mean, it's the 7 seed versus the 8 seed. I mean, they're seeded really correctly, and they're right next to each other, very, very close together, and that's why that 50-50 community split is there. But it'll be exciting to see. Obviously, it is going to be a best of 3, so it will be a little bit longer than those best of 1s, and going into it, which team can come out striking?
Now, both of these teams, obviously, they're going to have to actually play. We do have map bans for you guys. We're not going to pull them up. I will just tell you what they are because we have first Outlast banning Theme Park, followed by Red Right Hand with Cafe, Outlast Border, Red Right Hand Oregon, and then banning Bank Clubhouse with Chalet as the decider. So there you go. There's going to be your map bans. That's where we're going to be playing. So starting us off, it's going to be Villa, which I'm really excited for. That is a map that we saw last night between Outlast and Packwatch. And Outlast, I'm not going to say that they were completely dominant on it. It was a pretty close match, I believe, going all the way to max overtime. Down to a 1v1 in max overtime even. So Outlast is definitely going to have their work cut out for them on that, but needless to say, they feel pretty confident on it. They've decided to take Red Right Hand there, so.
Yeah, like you said, they didn't they made some mistakes. They had their slip ups. Obviously, everyone always does. But going on to Villa, it's a traditional type of map for them, and hopefully they can once again recreate what they did there. Because obviously, there's no more second chances. There's no more lower bracket for them. If you lose this matchup, I mean, it's the decider between getting into that grand finals and dropping out of that tournament entirely. So definitely don't want to start out your obviously with picking first. You want to take your own map.
No kidding. Now, obviously, moving on from that as well, we have the pick on Oregon.
Yep.
Very default. Some people call it Snorrigan, but there is something to be said about the way that it really brings out the fundamental play between two teams and can really weed out the differences between them. And with two teams that are as evenly matched as Red Right Hand and Outlast ought to be, this is going to be a very tight game, especially when we start looking at the likes of Oregon. Moving on to Chalet, though, that's going to be a little bit more complicated given the fact that on Chalet, obviously, it could be pretty attacker-sided at times. So we might see along with the other team dominating the second half. I mean, that's how sided maps work,
Yeah, they do. And honestly, that last map, that decider, is fun because it is a little bit more attacker heavy, but that can inspire some creativity in the defense, and that's what you got to have at this stage in the tournament. You got to have that creativity. We talked about it. One match away from the grand finals. You win two, you're in this best of three. You lose two, well, you're out. You're gone.
Yeah, no kidding. And not to mention, both of these teams have a tendency to be pretty scrappy. So these maps are going to be maps that really lend themselves to that scrappiness. Now, I do want to mention really fast, we've got another tournament coming up, and we have actually officially made the announcement. It is called the April Fool's Gold, with best of 3 matches and a single elimination bracket. So it's not going to be 2 weekends.
Ooh.
It's only going to be one $25 entry fee, and 32 teams. So it's going to be a very intense matchup for sure. Make sure you go and sign up for that because there's a lot of money up for grabs for only a single weekend worth of play. I think it definitely worth it if I'm running a T3 team.
Oh yeah, get yourself in there, whether it be just for some practice or maybe you want to get a shot at that money. Definitely get your team in. Like you said, just 1 week of play. Don't have to go over 2 weekends, so you can just get yourself in there, get on into it, and join into the Discord as well to be updated on those tournaments.
Now, we've got a pretty on one player, but in the meantime, what are your predictions for Outlast versus Red Right Hand?
Oh man, this one's tough because again they are like so closely matched. 7 and 8 seeds coming into this one. Oh man, I think it's going to be a 2-1. I think we're going to a third map for sure because like you talked about, both these teams very very scrappy. I think I'm going to say 2-1 Outlast overall in the series.
I tend to agree, but I also am kind of just rooting for Red Right
That's
Hand
true.
in general. It's kind of a pug stack that showed up with SCS pretty recently, and they have shown themselves to be a pretty solid team. Obviously, they have Owen, and Owen's always been a talented player, but on the other side, pulling every lever that there is to pull, it's gonna be Kronk. Yeah, Kronk is Outlast, right? I'm not crazy.
Yes.
Wait. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. But
Yeah, Kronk is Outlast. Yeah, Kronk is over on
Awesome.
Outlast, and it's like you said. I don't think like either over a prediction. I think it's gonna be 2-1 no matter what, just because like you said, both these teams, no matter what, they don't really have. They have off days, they have on days or whatever, but they always, every single time, they come in with new plans and they can adapt. That's the one thing about being these higher seeds is different from those lower seeds. They can change up their play style. They're not just good at one thing. And going into those later rounds, and maybe they're down a couple, maybe they're not on the right side of the map, then they can switch that up.
especially when we start talking about stacks like Red Right Hand, who are, obviously considered a little more puggy. That's been pretty dominant over the last year or so, just simply for the fact that there's a lot of flexibility required to sit in a good spot in this meta. Obviously, you can teach that to a good dedicated stack, but it kind of comes naturally to players who have played with, 8, 9 different teams.
Yeah.
And that can give them a little bit of an advantage when it comes to actually adapting to what your opponents are doing and how to play around it. So Red Right Hand could have a little bit of an advantage in that regard. With that being said, though, Outlast just has a lot of experience as a core.
They really do. They have experience all across the tier 2, tier 3 scene as well. They've been winning tournaments, they've been going undefeated. They have wins all around the board, and they are one of the teams that you look at as consistency, that they really have these good tournaments over and over and over again. And once again, they're already in at least third place. Even if you lose this matchup, you're still third place overall, and still a really good thing to look at for them. So I think for them, that's why I kind of value them a little bit. Recency bias, something, whatever you may call it, but I think I have a little bit more value in that.
Understandable. Now, just to clarify, all 3 of these teams that are playing today have already made prizing. It's just trying to figure out who's going to be taking the biggest chunk of the prize pool. And believe me, that means that these games, each game that we play, is worth money.
It is. Yeah.
Like, literally every single... They're getting more money directly in their pockets. So these teams are going to be playing their hearts out to find this victory.
Yep. Well, we are into picking bans here. Dokkaebi going to be the first ban on through here for it. Outlast Gaming, they're also going to get their ban on towards the attacking side. We'll see what they're going to pick. Obviously, both these teams 5-1, looking to, like you said, not only lock themselves a bigger chunk of money, lock themselves against the ever dominant HK Rebels up in that finals.
Dokkaebi and Nook off the board, I can't say is entirely surprising, especially given the efficacy that Nook has had overall, but
Yeah.
just on Villa in general as well. Obviously, there's 3 floors, and the bottom floor kind of acts as a little bit of a super highway. You can get you anywhere you want on the map, so taking Nook off is not surprising. Solus as well, given the just sheer amount of destruct on this map. Removing Solus and her ability to play vertically, not surprised about it. I will say, though, the game that we watched the other day, one of the teams had to just abandon Solus because it just wasn't working out. And I am not 100% sure that once you've adapted to a Solus, it really is a valuable play. In fact, it can almost be a detriment because you know Solus is going to be below. You can kind of just hunt her down, you know.
Yeah, and it goes to that factor of comfortability. Sometimes there is those overpowered things that, you know, people want to pick every single time, they want to ban every single time, but maybe you're not good with it. Maybe you're just not feeling it that day. The Valkyrie also going to be taking away that heavy roamer there, out and away. As we get into our first round here, it's going to be Outlast Gaming on the attack, red right hand on the defense to start us out.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
My right hand is going to be starting with something not necessarily default here. They have brought the Azami, which is unsurprising. There's a lot to be said about the efficacy of playing into a more utility-heavy meta. On this map in particular, obviously this map was very defender-sided during the utility meta, less so nowadays. But if you can still kind of replicate that, it does, I believe, give you a little bit of an advantage, especially when we talk about sites like this, where you can just kind of sit completely safe and start throwing Kiba barricades at doorways and whatnot, and just completely deny any sort of a safe entry from your opponents.
Yeah, and these rooms as well are going to have a lot of cover for them to work with, like you were talking about. The good thing for Outlast, hopefully they can get in with some sledge, with some other things that they have for themselves. But we'll see it here. Again, Outlast Gaming trying to start this one off very, very good here. So red right hand, they're going to be bunkering on up, like you said. Put those cameras up, get ready to go, and see if they can catch anybody off guard.
A lot of movement, starting over from the north side of the map. Obviously, this is going to be a full map clear, but starting things off, there is also going to be pressure from the other side, mostly by utility, but there is going to be a player in bricks and shots traded back and forth, but nothing found because, after all, the defenders don't really want to lose their lives in bricks. Losing your life this early on that far away from site isn't necessarily I'm not going to say necessarily a valid play style, but necessarily what you're generally going for. Rather, instead, they've got PBK over here on red, making sure he can protect their fallback so that once the time comes, a lot of the drones will be off the board, but there will still be plenty of players remaining for the defenders.
Yeah. And it's like you said earlier, that they really can just hunker down. They don't necessarily have to get that roam, but if they do get pushed heavily, they want to be able to have that escape route to get themselves out. Now, Kronk did take a little bit of damage on towards that entry. Didn't fall down just yet, as some of those walls going to block out some of that protection for themselves. So we'll see what Deity can do here, moving in a little bit further, looking through those holes, and possibly finding some more. Kronk, longer range here, just putting down some extra pressure from the outside.
Yeah, this angle is nasty. This does prevent any sort of a fallback through 90. There isn't any gold to fall back through 90, as we can see. Outlast has managed to take control of this whole northern side of the map beyond the knot that is top red. But it did take them a long time. Only a minute left in the round and still plenty of utility. You can see Owen already playing here behind a Kiba barrier, waiting for someone to push him. The first person to take damage. It's going to be a scuff between PBK and Deity. So, difficult situation, and Owen with an aggressive swing, not cut out by Kronk. Instead, it's going to be PBK finding the first pick onto Foresight, but a trade comes back quickly with Deity nading the aforementioned player. Ooh.
Yeah, pretty massive nade there, but Amity will take one as a trade. A 3v3, but time not in the favor of Outlast Gaming. Down to 30 seconds and only 2 players strong here. They did pick up the diffuser, so at least they have that in their possession, but Addy trying to watch all these angles. Again, these players can just bunker down, and Kronk is just shooting through the walls here, trying to put as much pressure as possible through.
2 to 3. Difficult situation for Outlast. They, especially having knowledge of this player behind them and only 15 seconds left on the board. Kronk is looking for it, but PBK is going to be the first one to find it. Kronk doesn't seem quite aware enough and loses his life on that top red position. It's going to be the Legion that finds it, and the first round goes in favor of red right hand.
Yeah, first round towards their side. Outlast Gaming, they lost a couple people early, and then it's like you said, because they couldn't clear it out, because they ran out of utility and out of time, they did not have enough time to clear that out. So unfortunately, we'll go the other way for them. Hopefully, they can find a way to break into those sites a little bit easier. So still picking up the sledge here, also the IQ as well.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused.
Yeah,
by
moving on to the
attackers.
second site. Red right hand is looking like they're pretty confident with Trophy. They've brought that Frost, like you mentioned.
Ooh, yeah.
Really excited to see how that plays out. We've seen that be pretty influential, but more likely than not, Azami is going to be one of the more key players here. We saw last time that Azami was able to hold down 90 for a pretty extended period of time. Outlast is really going to have to pick up the pace and start getting aggressive if they want to be able to take map control fast enough to beat Red Right Hand, because Red Right Hand is just so, at least from that first round,
10 seconds left before
just so dominant over the way that Outlast, held them back, right? Or rather, Outlast tried to push through them. Red Right Hand was able to just completely hold them back, and there was no real competition and plenty of time waste on the side of Red Right Hand.
Yeah, and I actually love the read. It's like you said from Red Right Hand. They pick up the Frost. They're going to be picking up as well. I mean, you talk about PBK, and you talk about the Azami in general, the ability to place these creative walls wherever you want, give yourself some nice peaks, some nice cover, and that just stalls them out even more. So I think for Outlast Gaming, need to go a little bit faster. Again, time was somewhat of an issue for last time. So we'll see if they can go a little bit faster here. Kronk put a little bit of pressure already down with that Lion. Kronk now holding down again. They just trying to find a way in, but PBK holding both of these break angles, and no one dead just yet. And as I say that, of course, Amity will take one.
I like the setup, a little bit of a variation on an old Pro League style where they tried to keep control of Closet for as long as possible, and they do that. They used to do that by castling those two windows. This time they brought a zombie barricade, but there it is, Foresight with the second kill. That's going to hurt Red Right Hand quite a bit as they're now looking to get a little bit aggressive. They need to find some way to start fighting back against Outlast, because this direct pressure by Outlast is so potent. Deity with another. And that's absolutely devastating, as Red Right Hand is completely unable to find anything back until now. Sen finds one, but it's not going to be enough. Still an overwhelming amount of pressure coming out from Outlast.
Yeah, so much pressure, still 4v2 here. Does find some damage here through the wall and a start towards a good play, but now they know your position, now they know where you are, and Sen just trying to get rid of this player. Foresight down but not out, will get fully finished off, so double kill over towards Sen. Suddenly trying to stop it. Yeah, Kronk immediately finds the trade. It's going to be sent back on about 50 HP, so not really anything they can do here, just trying to go for the miracle play.
Yeah, this is a really difficult play, but that's it. Suddenly, Sen finds the quad, and now Kronk is the last remaining player. Being able to retake from that side is difficult, and it just seems like no one was actually watching him. Kronk, though, now does have a good amount of knowledge. Needs to sneak around and find that diffuser, though, if he wants to really apply pressure. Or, alternatively, he can make the swing, but Sen is going to find the ace, clutching it out for Red Right Hand. And suddenly, wow, that was... there it is, one of those players that we mentioned early on. One of the two players that we were going to pit against each other, and Sen so far appearing to be absolutely dominant. Ace on round 2, hoping that that's going to start setting a pace for Red Right Hand, as they are going to be looking to try and take this half in a good fashion.
I said they needed a miracle. Well, they gave him Sen, and they were the miracle that they needed. It was such a good play there. I mean, taking out the player that was taking down the diffuser, and then the spray into the other, and then, you know, like you said, the other player had more knowledge, had more HP, still lost the gunfight there. So for Red Right Hand, it was looking rough to start out that round, but they found a way to bounce it back with that ace.
Sen found a way.
Yeah, Sen found a way. They did find a way, but yeah, hopefully Outlast. I did like how they were going fast. That was a really good start to the round. They could replicate that. Not the ace. Don't replicate.
Yeah, look at that scoreboard. Sen 8-0 thus far, and this is round 2. That's an average of 4.0 KPR.
10 seconds remaining.
That is absolutely monstrous. We're gonna see how things continue to go on as they switch sides.
Attacker's objective is
Or not as they switch sides, but you know, as things continue on these sides, and then once again as they switch sides down the road, because there is a little bit to be said about, you know, starting off on defense on Villa. Obviously, we had a little bit of a conversation in another game that I was casting that it's not really a super defender side of map anymore. but it definitely is a map that if you can start off on defense and you can do it well, you give yourself a pretty solid advantage.
Yeah, it's like you said, some of those sites can kind of lean a little bit more towards the defensive side, and Red Right Hand, they've made the most of it so far, Sen making the most of that gun skill as well, and oh, a little bit of damage coming through from Joltes, and a little bit careful, down to 50 HP, and it's also going to be Foresight taken down, so a couple of players on Outlast chunked a little bit low before they can even get in, and Red Right Hand, again, slowing them down, chunking them down a little bit here as Diddy trying to push on through.
If Bulls had managed to find that kill onto Joddles, that would have been absolutely massive. Obviously, that's their only hard breach on the board. I would like to point out with that comparison we made between Sen and Joddles, Joddles is currently playing hard breach, and so that might have a little bit of an indication on what kind of firefights he's able to take. But if we look at the positioning of Outlast outside of just Joddles, they're everywhere. There's going to be pressure coming out from every single direction. Red Right Hand is going to have to be prepared for it, and it seems like, for the most part, they are. A lot of them in ready positions with a little bit of ability to help each other once that engagement is found. So Outlast is going to have to be really careful as they continue to move through the map and go for this horizontal play, but it's going to be Foresight. First player to lose their life.
Yeah, PBK taking the first here, and Red Right Hand once again, they have found those early chunk damage. They have found a way to slow them down once again, and it is looking really good for Red Right Hand. As I mean, a minute now on the clock. Once again, Outlast Gaming waiting till this timer ticks down. Amity though will be able to take one, take a little bit of chip damage as well, and look at that, that's a second double kill. Immediately traded out, but could be the entry they needed.
3-3 now, a little bit of opening, so that's going to provide pressure into that memorial position. Deity, though, is going to be the last player over there, so no players of Red Right Hand actually playing that position. It does prevent them from retaking it, but Sen is going to start retaking anyway. There it is, Deity off the board, the player that was in the jail, and now PBK is the remaining member with one more kill by Sen. PBK looking in, and there it is, Crunk.
Yeah. I just don't know how you shut down Sen. This man's crazy.
He is on an absolute tear right now. And Outlast, rightfully so, taking a time out. Outlast has looked a little bit like they're not entirely awake. They've been so slow on their aggression and to build any sort of a play. So taking a little bit of time out to look for a little bit of conversation, make sure they wake each other up. I think that is probably the play here.
Yeah,
Sen is 10-1.
Yeah, that's first death on last round, and honestly, the death was traded out. So like, come on, like, I don't, like you said, they're looking a little bit slow. It is a good timeout to take. The map not over, the series not over, but man, looking a little bit slow. Sen has just been crushing them every time they try and step in, and it's been really slow plays. They've been trying to play, like you said, those cheeky outside angles to try and put some pressure down, but just feels like Red Right Hand, they're not biting.
Yeah, Red Right Hand is playing with a good amount of discipline, and Outlast almost seems uncomfortable looking into trying to find the penetrations. It is just as everywhere, so unless Outlast is able to go and take effective trades, which they have so far been completely incapable of, Red Right Hand is going to continue to dominate this map and potentially the whole map.
Yep, and like you said, a little bit advantage for the defensive team, but we'll see if Red Right Hand can pick up a few more rounds before they can switch on over, or if Outlast Gaming, you know, if that timeout really did help, if they can wake themselves up, if they can build a new plan in the playbook here for themselves going into this round number 4. Now, no frost coming through from Red Right Hand, but they do still, again, have that as zombie to, again, build those walls up, build those creative picks, and PBK been really good to use that, but switch it over to OWEN.
That's, you can just say Owen.
Yeah, could have, but
who is currently 0-3.
We didn't talk about it. Sen makes up for it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. True. Sen is literally 10-1 right now.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot fault anyone for playing the way that Sen is. Similar extension to what we saw last time, and if Outlast, you know, we've mentioned it over and over again, if Outlast isn't able to make aggressive plays, it's not going to happen, but with the entry below, that could be pretty potent. Doesn't look like anyone's entirely prepared for it, but Sen is going to be the one who's going to end up taking that engagement. Is he going to look the right way? Sledge making his way up the red stairs from the basement. Sen looking to try and support the players, but they don't know where Sen is right now.
Yeah.
Where's that Sledge? Where is he hiding? Not sure, but Kronk instead is going to be holding an angle to cut off the rotation. There it
He's
is.
dead.
Deity
Sen is
finding
dead.
you.
BBK is dead. 2 are dead on the side of red right hand here. So the player that they need to take out, but immediate trades. PBK having a pop-off day so far. 2 kills picked up. They did take a little bit of damage, going to be very low HP to work with, but a 3v3 nonetheless equalized out the red right hand. Like you said, Outlast Gaming, they've tried to go a little bit faster, try to take out those players that were hiding and waiting, but they did get traded out and paid for it with that information.
Yeah, that play by Sen was really a fantastic way to really change up the pace, but there it is, another down.
Okay.
Leaving only PBK on a sliver of health left to try and defend the site. Red right hand for once isn't looking strong. Really good change of pace from Outlast, leading to a very different looking round. PBK, though, looks like he's going to try and bait this player, or in the very least try and get them up. But it's not going to happen. There it is, Ampty finishing him off. PBK watches as his last hope of getting traded goes out the window. All that needs to happen now is Outlast needs to coordinate themselves in an effective way, and they've got plenty of information, a nade and 3 flashes. That Iana clone really doing work, and it is going to spot out PBK here.
Yeah, they got information here. PBK gonna have to shoot that clone on through. Now clearing out through one of these sites and trying to clear on back, trying to do some damage towards AMD and Jolts, who are still, again, 2 players strong with a lot of HP. That diffuser is going to be planted here, so putting extra pressure on PBK to try and run on forward. Already planted, so won't get that free kill. And now 2 guns gonna be on yourself. One hiding right where that diffuser was, holding really close angles. Some good chip damage coming through the wall, but PBK needs to start pushing soon. And with low HP, it's not looking too great here. Gonna look through the wall angle. One of those players laying down. Gonna be flash banged out here and just trying to clear it on through the player behind him. Yep, the lay down play works, and Joltis will take the first round for Outlast.
Yeah, even if PBK was able to find one of those, there was just so much utility on the board. I mean, between 3 flashes or a grenade, like, you're looking down the barrel of probably death. I mean, let's just be realistic here. You know, difficult situation for red right hand, but it looks like they have a little bit more of an expectation of the way that Outlast is going to change things up. So they're returning to Aviator Games. They want to make a different play than what was made last time, which was still a pretty close round until those 2 downs came out. So not entirely surprised if red right hand just falls back a little bit earlier and predicts a little bit more of an aggressive play than I think that's going to be a little bit more effective for red right hand.
I think so. They definitely are good at that fallback, hold down strategy here. And once again, no frost can be picked up. They will again have that Azami that they've been keeping pretty much the same composition from last time. And it's like you said, it was a kind of interesting play there from Sen to maybe pick up some of that information, does trade life for it. And those 2 downs were really detrimental towards their defense on that round. We'll see though going into round 5, like you said, if they can back up a little bit more, if they can relax a little bit more and just, you know, bunker up. That's what this map is about.
Attackers are heading out to defuse the bomb.
I don't know that bunkering up is what this map is about, because if you give too much time to the attackers, then they're going to get control of that knot at top red. I like to call it the knot of Villa, because literally, I mean, look at it. There are like 8 different angles onto it, but PBK starting it off aggressive. Seems like they're aware that Outlast wanted to change pace, and they're saying, hey, we can do that too. We can get aggressive, and Foresight has nearly lost his life for it. That is nearly your Nomad off the board, and while he is going to get spotted out, there is still plenty of opportunity for the players on red right hand to fall back, as BBK does now very wisely.
Yeah, put some utility in here for Foresight. Like you said, almost did lose their life, though, down to about maybe 10 HP to work with. So just going to be holding this oppressive angle, though. Can see through the woodworks and possibly see in towards that A site. And we'll see if that angle can be good. But for right now, on low HP, you know, one bullet will do you in. So got to be very careful with your life nonetheless. So we'll see as red right hand, like you said, they backed up a little bit. They took a little bit of damage overall. But nonetheless, you know, they backed up towards where their defense was.
I just realized something, and that is that there are 2 people on this team named PBK.
Yeah.
One of them is BZ, one of them being Diffuser, so we'll clarify that a little bit better moving forward. But in any case, Red Right Hand is in a pretty good spot. 1.5 minutes left on the board for the attackers to work with. That is still a pretty significant amount of time. But whether or not it's going to be enough is going to be another question, especially when you're looking at players like Foresight being as low as they are. Any sort of opportunistic gunfight taken by Red Right Hand could lead to a really difficult push by Outlast Gaming.
It's going to be tough here. That time's still ticking down. They've held for long enough. Red Hand now under a minute to hold down this defense, and Outlast Gaming turning around the diffuser here, getting ready to push down the stairs, but Sen just has that angle covered, looking up between bars of wood to make sure and see if there's anybody lurking around that stair area. Oh, almost catches one there, but smart enough to not look through that Daddy. Now they gotta go because only 30 seconds on the board. Again, Foresight very low, AMT very low. They gotta try and finish it here.
The nade coming through that door, accidentally giving Sen the most ideal of angles, and there it is. That's the down onto Deity. That's gonna hurt quite bad. And there it is, another one. AMT finding Sen. That's gonna be huge, but now with a 5v4, make that a 4v4 on Outlast, but a trade goes down. The diffuser not going to be able to put down a triple for Owen. He is on a roll, and now suddenly Outlast has nothing left to push with. One more by Schmink, and there is no time on the board. That's going to be another round for Red Right Hand, and 4-1. Red Right Hand is already looking pretty good. 4-1 is about what we expect on Villa. But definitely going to be an uphill battle as Outlast moves to defense, whether or not they win this next round or not.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, and I really think it's all of these pop-off players from Red Right Hand. Every single time it seems like, you know, like you talk about Outlast, a couple rounds, they've had good opportunities. You talk about that ace from Sen. You talk about that good kills there from Owen to try and just shut down the diffuser. They didn't have enough time to even get it down again. So these players working really well together, and the fourth round on the board, like you said, it's somewhat what we expect, but, you know, Outlast Gaming, if they can put a round together here going to 4-2, wouldn't be super unhappy about that.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Opting to skip Trophy Gaming is Red Right Hand, and I can't blame them. I mean, when we look back at the last time Trophy Gaming was played, it was down to a 1v3, and Sen pulled off the miracle play. Last time as well, though, Outlast, when they were pushing this site, Dining and Kitchen, they were trying to go for a little bit of a vertical play, kind of decided, okay, that's not going to work. Decided to go for a horizontal, and we see Red Right Hand adjusting a little bit for that. They've now dedicated some of their reinforcements to the living room area instead. That could spell a big difference unless Outlast decides to go for a different kind of take. But with 3 players on the Ruins side, I doubt that a horizontal take is likely in the cards for this team.
Yep, that's what it looks like it is going to be for this squad. We'll see AMP picking up some extra information with those cameras, and Deity looking to take this sledge a little bit different way than the squad. Get some extra information. Gonna rejoin back up with them on the second floor and send in that camera drone, trying to get the extra information, for this team as they go on in. Foresight and company, they got the buck as well. They got a lot of breach here to go in, and I think that's the play. Go in pretty fast, get as much as you can, and again, they've run out of time in a couple rounds, not literally, and you know, with a minute left, with time ticking down. So we'll see if they can go a little bit faster here.
Seems like Outlast has just made the decision to shut down Sen, as he's not found any kills since the 3rd round. Moving now on to round 6, and he is found his life forfeit, as well as Schmink Deity finding one on the round as well, and that's going to leave Outlast in a very advantageous position. The aggression was the play as it's looking, but Deity finally going down to diffuser. It's on the vert angle. Little bit of that play. I was expecting a little more from these two teams. Very talented players, and there it is. Diffuser finding the second. Outlast know they've got to clear out this player. That's not going to happen. Owen finds one, protecting that player, and now suddenly the advantage is completely flipped. Red Right Hand has set themselves up and gotten aggressive right at the right moment, while Outlast was trying to get themselves set up to make an execute. Now suddenly Outlast is hurting, and Red Right Hand has a huge opportunity in this round.
Yeah, They have a massive advantage. Not only the players, they got an extra one there with BZ here. Just one more. Kronk trying to hide out, but BZ will find the last one. Defenders will win round 6 and walk into it 5-1 here. You mentioned it though, Outlast Gaming, they had a player advantage going into the start of that round, but kind of biffed it.
Yeah, I mean, they did the right thing. They recognized that they had time and they decided to reposition to try and get as much pressure as possible to make sure that their execute was successful. But Red Right Hand read right into it, if you will.
They did.
You saw the players up on the top floor just finding some of those vertical plays, some of that aggression, and then as well getting aggressive to protect their own players, because after all, you're in a 3v5, making a 3v3 at that point. You can't let your players go down, or you're going to find yourself in a losing situation really, really fast. So starting us off, it's going to be Outlast. Going to AVG seems to be the favorable site. Ampty, currently top fragging for Outlast, going to be playing on the Oryx, so you can expect some pretty aggressive roams here. After all, Oryx is the fastest operator in the game.
Yeah, that they are. And Ampty, like you said, has the gun skill to do so, so deservedly will be playing a little bit more aggressive towards the outside. But Outlast Gaming, they need to have a good defensive half here. We talked about Red Right Hand, already on 5, only need 2 more to finish this one out. And obviously a best of 3 series. Don't want to drop your own map pick for Outlast Gaming to see what they can do. Obviously a zombie going to be picked up as well on both sides for the defense. So for Outlast Gaming, I want to see how creative they get with their walls.
I like the way that the players on Outlast are kind of moving together here.
Yep.
Not necessarily entirely cohesive, but as a unit, but Right Hand is looking for a more direct take, so that roam is not going to be entirely effective, and Outlast has adapted by moving their players down to the bottom floor.
Move on
Frolic
down to
with
the
the
bottom.
Attackers have
Yeah,
recovered their
Diffuser is going to be taken out here. Is Red Right Hand trying to find their way on in.
Oh!
Ampty making that. Oh, running in with the shield.
Oh
boy,
my
yeah,
God!
Sen's got 2. Sen's a dirty man and is going to
Oh.
find the 3rd from Schmink behind him. Oh man, Sen, stop doing it to him. BZ gets the knife kill, and Ampty trades one back. But a 1v3, it's looking impossible for this one.
Outlast, completely successful and entirely circumventing the roam. Just making their way into 90. Sen with a beautiful double, nearly a triple, but DD, I believe, actually cleaned that one up. In any case, there you go. Red Right Hand has put themselves on match point with a very aggressive play. You're expecting the aggression to be coming out from Outlast. No. Red Right Hand made their way into sight in the first minute of the round and then up through the 90 window the second they realized that the blitz was in sight. That is gorgeous. Yeah. Understanding that, hey, once they realize that the blitz is in sight, they're going to kind of panic and start moving back to the site. First person to get out of position is going to be the 90 player. Send Sen up right through that 90 window. And there it is. Beautiful double, which, let's be real, he had no business winning that, but he was just like, no, you know what? I feel like being better today. I feel like just being better than my opponents today. And it worked out.
It really did. And you talked about it, they shut down Sen a couple of previous rounds. Sen just wanted to make sure their voice was still heard here, make sure they know Sen is still playing in this game. 12-5, absolutely insane score line. Not as insane as the 10-1, I will say, but still pretty good here. And we'll see what they can do. Going into match point for Red Right Hand. If that aggression continues, again, like you talked about, they cleaned it up so quickly, a very, very fast round. You know, we could be over right in a minute and a half.
I will say, different setup definitely coming out from Red Right Hand. Given the fact that, I mean, they're bringing in Osa and they are not bringing in a Maru or a Blitz, I am expecting still a pretty vertical style play. A little bit of direct pressure with Sen providing counter pressure, as you can see over on the other side of the map. If he's able to sneak in, and the Ash, who is a 3-speed, very quiet, not the Nook, but still a 3-speed. Sen could deal a deadly blow, just as he did in the last round.
Sen been so dangerous here. Foresight going to be playing on the Azami. Those walls on the stairs going to help get some extra protection towards that bottom floor. So we'll see what they can do with it. BZ breaking some of the windows, making sure that some pressure is known as they have some of those walls set up as well to prepare for it. Playing behind this short little barricade of cover here, seeing if they can do anything else. BZ going to add one more to the collection there and add more angles to it as Jotis will actually take the first one. Jolt's actually taking down Sen, which is a huge player to take out.
Yeah, no trades in for Sen, which was kind of intentional. They wanted to bank off that play a little bit. If they bring in 2 people, obviously that's going to be very readable, but the single player still got red. And so now Outlast has given himself a huge advantage, but this wouldn't be the first time that we've seen red right hand come back. Yes, it would be the first time on attack, but
the good news is Sen is out. Okay, Sen is out. Okay, we don't got to worry about the ace, right? It's all good. Surely at this point. Nonetheless, Outlast game, like you talked about, yeah, they got full advantage, 2-player advantage with full HP bars on all of their sides. Jolt's still holding it down, and red right hand, they have dropped the diffuser and dropped another player, all down to Schmink and diffuser here to try and finish this one on out, using the Azami walls to their own advantage. Actually, it's going to be a double, a triple from diffuser, and all of a sudden, surely this isn't it. Diffuser picks up 4, and it's over.
absolutely monstrous map by red right hand, winning it out, and this was Outlast's pick. Remember that. That was Outlast picks. That was Outlast pick, and red right hand absolutely dominant on that. Just no mercy whatsoever. We've got a little bit of a replay here for you. There's going to be one. That's Kronk off the board. We saw that, and some aggression as well coming out from red right hand. A lot of aggression early on. We're going to see that over and over again. Just aggression. Yes, when Outlast decided to pick it up, it was good, but this is one of those monstrous moments. I've loved that we get to see this again, this ace, because there goes his second. We see that double kill, and then Sen looking for this, and this wasn't the first time he pulled something off, or wasn't the last time, rather, that he pulled something off that was absolutely monstrous. Sen, absolutely the MVP of that map, and I don't think that's arguable.
Yeah, I don't think it's arguable, but as well, it just goes to show red right hand, even when Sen was down, you could see Owen, you could see Diffuser, you could even see BZ and Schmink pulling out these amazing plays on their own and having these pop-off plays that they have the confidence for. You talk about being down 2 players and still going on to win on your match point there, not even letting them get a second round on the defense, and that's their pick. It's like you said, I might have to rethink my prediction now, because after that one, it's looking a little bit tough. I don't know.
I can't say that I was expecting quite what we just saw. I will say I did predict that red right hand would take the victory, but I predicted they would take the victory in 2-1, and after that performance, absolutely nuts. But in any case, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, give the teams a little bit of time to recoup after that. Hopefully Outlast will be able to cook something up, or else they are going to be out. Yes, they will have a little bit of dough in their pocket. Not as much as red right hand, though. So we're going to go ahead and go to a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And welcome back. We just witnessed an absolute stomping Red Right Hand smoking Outlast's pack. They're not even pack watching, they're smoking it. 7-1. Absolutely dominant. And there's not much else to say about that other than Sen is absolutely fantastic. Thoughts, Llama?
That's my thoughts. Sen is a beast. I never want to be in the area because I'm going to get destroyed by Sen, and I know Outlast Gaming probably doesn't want to be in the area as well because Sen is once again going to pop off. So I think that they need to do something about Sen, but you can't do anything about Sen. It's like a moral conundrum. I don't know.
Well, they did have a few moments of being able to actually play against Sen for a second, but I mean, let's be real. He pulls an ace in round 2, and then the most insane shot I've seen in like my entire life during the second to last round. I mean, he's going off, and that's all there really is to say. In any case, we're moving on. It's Oregon, and there goes the Nook ban again. We saw it last time. Not surprised to see it again. It's a Nook ban.
It's a Nook ban. It's Borgen. It's get your pillows out. We're gonna take a nap here because it's gonna be fun. But for Outlast Gaming, they need to not take a nap here and take a win because like we talked about best of 3 series, Red Right Hand. They win one more map and we're actually all done. So
Ying off the board by Red Right Hand. I believe they probably watched Outlast Gaming play because last time they played, Outlast really relied on both the Ying and the Solus, especially here on Oregon. They did a lot with the Ying. Red Right Hand doesn't really want to deal with it. They don't want to be forced to bring a Warden every single time, even if Warden is a fantastic pick. They don't want to be forced into it. And Mira as well off the board. Not surprising, but it does leave up Valkyrie. Yep. Curious to see if that means we're going to see an IQ being played by Red Right Hand or not, or how much use that's actually going to end up getting. But in any case, starting out in the basement, never mind. Starting out on the top floor.
They take Warden anyways, of course.
Yep, classically. Well,
Classic.
It's Outlast. It's Outlast.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. But yeah, taking away that mirror, taking away those black mirrors, it's pretty strong, I'd like to say. But we'll see. Going on to this one is going to be Red Right Hand. Starting on the attack, Outlast Gaming starting on the defense. We only saw one round of Red Right Hand's attack actually last map, so we can see more of it here.
Yeah, looking like a pretty traditional setup so far. Maybe a little bit of a vertical extension. We're seeing Katie downstairs in servers right now, and well, if they're able to keep a hold of that, then no one's going to be jumping in the main window, we'll put it that way. No head holes on the trophy wall this time, at least not coming out from Outlast.
10 seconds remaining.
That's going to mean that the hold of trophy not going to be likely, rather instead they're going to be attempting to slow them down as much as possible between that trophy door and games. There are a lot of angles on that, so it's 100% doable.
Yeah, doable here. And you talk about slowing a team down. Red Right Hand again, they were very fast on the one round we saw for their offense here. We'll see if they decide to go fast once again. Again, they got some decent amount of breach for themselves, but we'll see where they decide to use it. Walking all together, starting to break in towards that bottom floor, and Gronk gonna be once again running that zombie here on the defense to provide them some extra walls, some extra coverage, and hopefully those creative plays.
Yeah, creative plays are going to be the name of the game. After all, it's Oregon. If you're able to find creative plays, that's what's going to start setting you apart from other teams. But a quick entry from BZ, looking to find a call, and it seems that they're more or less aware that there is this vertical extension. Not a whole lot of help for the player and server, though. I really have to question that decision. Deity is still playing on white stairs, but that may or may not be enough, depending on whether or not someone decides to come through showers or up from the bottom floor.
Yeah.
In any case, they're going to have to clear Foresight out of this position more likely than not.
Yeah, that's probably going to have to be the job for them, but we'll see here. Time ticking down, Red Right Hand, about a minute gone off the clock. No players down on either side or HP bars down just yet, but Sen is going to start to walk in, put some pressure, and Sen doing Sen things, taking the first kill of the match, taking that finish as well, making sure that Rez not able to come on through, and getting the information that there's another player there. So much gain from this rotation from Sen.
Gathering a lot of information. It's going to be Red Right Hand as they continue to prepare for their execute. BZ looking like he's trying to help out his teammates, dropping some flashes in there, so hopefully Red Right Hand will be able to get some aggressive going. But in the meantime, it looks like they're just doing everything that they possibly can to find some pressure and get this main wall open, because after all, there really is just not a whole lot of pressure coming out from Red Right Hand, but it looks like there's going to be enough diffuser with now.
He's a problem.
They're outside and ready to jump. It's notice here. It's going to be the execute in just a moment with that wall open and so many other angles, but Jot didn't want to set it down. So that's going to be really good kill by Sen. That's going to be Kronk off the board. No one walking up. It's all up to Jottles. He gets one. Looking for more. But with the positioning of the attackers, it's going to be incredibly difficult.
Yeah, they got the diffuser down too. I mean, Sen is going to be down, so you don't have to deal with him. And ooh, what a flick there from Jodels to take it down. But they know the location, they know the positioning, and Schmink will take the final kill in that one. Red Right Hand, absolutely beautiful, getting busy, putting pressure there to start off that push, going in fast, and then getting that down. The first round going over to Red Right Hand.
The pressure just does not let up from Red Right Hand. We watched that whole round. Just constant action, Red Right Hand getting in everywhere they possibly can, poking Outlast buttons. And Outlast just seemed, well, they did a decent job at holding it off, but definitely not good enough. Obviously, they lost the round down all the way down with the plant down and still two members of Red Right Hand up. No trade opportunity. So Outlast is really going to have to start pushing back, or else Red Right Hand is going to just absolutely melt through their defenses every time. Because let's just be real, utility play is not going to be viable against Red Right Hand here.
No, it's not, and it could have been even worse if they didn't take out BZ there. That could have been an absolute slaughter. I mean, it kind of was, but BZ automatically putting all the utility in, like you said, helping out the teammates, letting them get in, and then just rushing in, distracting them for a little bit of time. And that aggression really working out for Red Right Hand, like you said, just chopping through the defense like a knife through butter here. We'll see if they can go through it in round number 2. It's going to be a setup from Jolts up here.
Locate and defuse a bomb.
As they get ready to go.
Starting out in small tower, definitely a different take. I will say there is something to be said about the fact I mentioned Red Right Hand was a little bit of a puggy team, even if they are on SES, but it looks like they got into SES and they got to work, because every map that we've seen them play, every site, every attack, every defense, they've had 2 or 3 different ways to actually do it. And Outlast Gaming doesn't really have a whole lot of opportunities to actually adjust to the way that Red Right Hand is playing, because they're just doing everything.
Yeah. And it's like you said, you come into Oregon with these creative strategies, with these different opportunities to push the opportunity forward. It's going to be really good for you. So for Red Right Hand, we'll see what they can do once again. If it's just going to be reactive from Outlast Gaming, if they can't find those rotates, they are pulling out the Valkyrie from Deity here to see if maybe they can get some of these players out early, but that rotation is going to have to be crisp and clean. Sen going to look through the bottom floor here to see if maybe they could take some angles and put some pressure. Sen doing Sen things.
A little bit of an entry, not a whole lot so far other than Sen finding one along with Diffuser, and now we're right back to where we were last time, 3-5. Very quickly this time, make that a 2-5 as another nade comes through. It's Diffuser on with the second on the round, and now suddenly Outlast looks scared. They're so reactive. A second nade by Diffuser, goodness gracious. It's all up to Kronk. We've seen this man do some absolutely nutty things, and while he does find one, he is not aware of the player that just came up armory. He is now looking for aggression. Not going to be enough. Easy shuts it down. Red Right Hand, once again, just looking absolutely dominant, and I'm expecting a pretty quick timeout from Outlast.
Yeah, that was fast and quick play. Red Right Hand once again just chopping through the defense. Sen on that entry, picking up one. Absolutely huge to start out that round. So yeah, Outlast Gaming, either timeout now or timeout after you lose the next round. Like,
I'd say next round. They need as much information as possible.
That's true.
But honestly, if the attacks keep going this way, there's just not going to be a chance for Outlast. I hate to say it, but holy cow. It's hard to even talk about what's going on because it's all happening just so fast. Red Right Hand is absolutely prepared all the way down to the micro on what to do. Exactly where Outlast is going to be, because Outlast is just playing so default. And no adjustment or anything from Outlast so far, and unless really start getting last time. Red right hand is going to be melting through them.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about Sen and Diffuser, who now have a combined KDA of 8-1 between these two players in 2 rounds between these two players. Only 1 death between them, working really well, and it's gonna be the doc.
Okay,
pickup.
but last map,
Okay,
that's
true.
8.01. So
Diffuser
clearly,
has a
red right is lacking. Right.
We'll see though. Kronk picking up that doc. It will be interesting to see how they use that over heals possibly, or those long-range reses towards their advantage. But Sen trying to be a problem once again to start this one up and off. Like you said, if Red Hand, if they take another aggressive round, and even if Outlast Gaming takes another timeout, it's still going to be tough if they lose this.
Red right hand is doing red right hand and being everywhere, getting bones in front of the players. They've managed to spot out the alibi, and alibi is going to have to getting back into the site. Drops. That's going to be good enough for now, but with a little bit of knowledge about where the kill on the round is going to be Deity in the and Outlast still looking like. This is like a bull in a china shop. Really. Red right hand is just going around just destroying out at every turn with just raw aggression. Outlast response.
Yeah, raw aggression, raw kills here. The utility plays, like you said, just not working out for Outlast to try and find that defense. So Red right hand, they have the player advantage, and with that aggression gained themselves a lot of presence here. About 1:30, they have used a little bit more time in this round to set themselves up, and Jolts is just waiting on the stairs here, seeing if anybody wishes to turn that angle. But for right now, I mean, as this goes on, I mean, they're still pushing further and further in towards your site.
4 to 5, not a whole lot of pressure coming out. Outlast. Joddles does decide to get a little aggressive, but just to find that drone, they need to get aggressive soon. Like, you are down a player. If you don't find something, then it's going to collapse, and we're going to see a repeat of every round that we've had. And there it is. Once again, a 3v5. Sen finding a pick onto Amty. And Outlast just won't do anything about it. There's no aggression. Joddles has the perfect opportunity to swing and doesn't take it. Just lets BZ walk in. And goodness gracious, Joddles does have an opportunity for a little bit of a flank. Not aware of this player in Freezer, but it's not going to be enough. Schmink and Diffuser finally shutting it down. Red right hand, just absolutely dominant. If I'm Outlast, I'm saying, hey, listen, you got 2 options, okay? You either need, actually, you've got 1 option.
You got one option.
You got 1 option. You need to just give up everything that you've done so far, bring just a bunch of traps and intel, and just get so aggressive, more aggressive than you've ever been in your life, because Red right hand is just, you're not shooting back.
No.
You have to shoot them before they shoot you. And in this case, that means you have to get in their face, or else it's just not going to work out.
I would have loved the Capcan pickup there, but they decided against it, unfortunately.
Yeah, no,
I mean, yeah, and the problem is Diffuser is killing everybody, even their own teammates. So,
yeah,
like,
this is exactly what I was talking about earlier on in the stream when I mentioned that Outlast has had the same core for a long time and might refuse to adjust. They know what Red right hand is doing. They're steamrolling them, and they're doing the exact same thing. They're still playing a util meta. They've still got a smoke to slow. Like, what is your smoke going to do when every single round is ended at 1.5 minutes? Like, why are you still bringing a smoke? I hate to be this critical of a team, but in this case, you're losing hard. It's not close. You need to start making adjustments. And honestly, if it's this difficult for you to even find a single round or find any sort of answer to the aggression, the adjustments are going to have to be intense. Yeah. Sorry, a little bit of a rant. It's over.
No, I mean, it's deserved. I mean, you talk about the team of Outlast Gaming that, I mean, their own map pick, they lost 6-1. Their first map pick, they lost 6-1, or 7-1, excuse me. But, like, yeah, like, come on. It is deserved. It's deserved criticism here. So for Red right hand, and again, they have 3 rounds already on them. They're doing the same thing. They're making the same mistakes, repeating history over and over again. And Red right hand, they're happy about it. They're saying, okay, this is our ticket to grand finals.
Yeah. If Red right hand continues to play like this, I don't know how Hong Kong is going to respond. It's possible, but yeah. But Outlast has made another decision. Now, I don't agree with this decision personally, you know, when I'm coaching. They've decided to just kind of fall back into the site and make sure that they don't give up that opening pick. I get it. I don't think it's going to be effective because the thing is, red right hand, yes, they've been very effective at finding the opening picks onto roamers, etc. But they also have just absolutely stellar executions. But for once, Deity finding the opening pick, Outlast actually takes the entry.
Yeah, Diffuser chipped a little bit low there as well. So around that Outlast gaming, like you said, they fell back a little bit, rested a little bit into their site here. They take the first. They'll be at a player advantage, hoping they can make use of it. But Diffuser is going to run into some utility as well, get that camera drone on in here and see if they can push the issue a little bit forward. And this is going to be the aggression. Can they stomp it out? They have stalled for about a minute and a half. But can they get it? Deity looking to possibly take this gunfight around the corner. Diffuser's taken down to about 10 HP. It's a beautiful shot there to finish that kill on out. And the holding back actually has worked for Outlast Gaming.
Absolutely. Actually, gorgeous play by Outlast. They did make a very solid adjustment here. And what it is it's not holding back, but it's applying pressure at the right moment. Red right hand was like, oh, we have control of, you know, the entire map. Let's just start getting aggressive in these key spots. And then Outlast just started walking up. I mean, we watched Deity walk up Freezer and then just start swinging. That's exactly what Outlast needed to do. And you saw red right hand get caught a little bit off guard. This could be an interesting play, though. I certainly was not expecting this, I can tell you that much. But it looks like Foresight was.
That gas waiting for him. Foresight was waiting. Foresight was ready to go. AMD will take the last one. It is a flawless round. And what a bounce back here for Outlast Gaming. I mean, they heard the Yali rant. They didn't want another thrown at him. Yeah,
no, I gotta say, I think I gotta eat my words on that one. Outlast did a very good job on that adjustment.
Yeah.
I think it is still pretty accurate to what I was saying, in that you need to get aggressive. You need to take the firefights before they take the firefights, right? Swing or be swung. As much as it hurts to say that, that is the meta, right? You just have to swing when you have the info. When you have the advantage, you have to take advantage of it, right? And Outlast did a good job of that. I mean, once again, just that key moment of Deity getting aggressive in Freezer and finding that one pick and then continuing to push up. Like, that is the definition of what we need to be seeing from Outlast, where the second red right hand starts to feel a little bit comfortable, Outlast gets there and just starts pushing back.
Yeah, I think it was a good round. And it was also, we talked about previously that Outlast, they've sometimes on their defense just, you know, thrown players out there, kept them in bad positions, and had no one able to support them. So, you know, it was a little bit more defensive overall position there, but they were playing all together. They were playing off of each other. And like you said, they were pushing forward. That's exactly what they need. But now red right hand, obviously still a 2-round advantage. This is their chance to respond and hopefully not get caught off guard like that again.
Good opportunity for red right hand. Themselves a huge. I mean, 3 to 3 is already kind of an advantage on Oregon. It is very defender sided. Something like 60% the last season. Obviously, that changes every season, but 60%. I mean, going 3 to 3 is going to be pretty healthy. Yeah. In any case, they are 3 to 1. They do still have opportunity to continue to find victories.
That's true. Yeah, make a defensive half a little bit easier for themselves. They can pick up some more. Might not be they could go back towards that 5-1, but see what it is. Decided up towards this. Foresight going to be looking for this one, as again they're playing a bit closer together, but red right hand get in here. Deity will take a little bit of chip damage on the intro, but what is that swing? Oh, BZ caught out in the open.
Yeah, there it is. There's the aggression that we need. A second time Deity actually going off right now. Finding that second, looking for the third. Doesn't have his gun up though, so Diffuser is going to be the one to find that back. But in any case, they put themselves in a good spot. They found the opening. They have the opportunities to trade down, as red right hand has been the ones doing in the past. But Sen is in the site. He killed Capcan and didn't look to his right. There it is. AMT shutting that down, and now 3 to 2 in favor of Outlast.
My heart almost stopped there. I thought Sen was going to do Sen things once again, but it's shut down. It's shut down. 3v2 now for the side of Outlast Gaming, as done some good positioning here, but Diffuser immediately cutting down one of the players, getting the information on the other. throwing in some utility as well to put extra pressure and getting that roam back on down to that bottom floor. So we'll see if maybe they want to get some of that vertical play going from bottom to top, but using those angles here down through the floorboards. We'll see about 50 seconds to go for red right hand here as Owen going to be on the second floor. Foresight holding down this angle, waiting for it here. Oh, the swing on through. Doesn't get the damage. Doesn't get the kill, but Owen's still healthy.
2-2. Situation we find ourselves in. There goes the vertical play. Diffuser with a beautiful shot on Foresight. He's still got nades in hand. That's 2 of them. Joddles is the final remaining player. We've seen this before, but last time he was in a 1v5. A 1v2 is significantly more doable. That, yes, he is. There goes the swing and a trade out. Red right hand is going to take the victory. 4 rounds on their attacking half, and with that trade, if there was one more player on the side of Outlast, sorry, if there was one fewer player on the side of red right hand, then Outlast would have won that round. That was a very close round. Yeah, but not close enough. Red right hand still giving themselves a very potent advantage.
It's tough. I mean, so when Sen isn't doing Sen things, it is Diffuser doing Diffuser things. Like, they had a player advantage. They had good aggression. They did exactly what they needed to do, but they just could not recover after they lost that player. 3v4 not going their way. And red right hand, like you talk about, on a side that they're not supposed to be favored on, are winning 4-1.
Outlast, I mean, there's not a whole lot to talk about the way that Outlast is setting this up. They set it up the same way that they did last time, but what's really going to be interesting is seeing how they play the round. We saw last time they did a good job of finding aggression. DD maybe overheated a little bit, walking towards the main stairs with his gun down. I still... Okay, this is definitely a massive tangent, but I still don't know how I feel about going slow when you ADS. So far, like, watching it, it looks like it's a good change, but it's still just like, we get situations like that where people are walking at other people with their gun down and lose because of it. Very odd to me. But in any case, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about this match in particular. And red right hand is going all over the map. They're doing the red right hand thing. While there is some vert, it is going to get spotted out pretty quickly by Sen, and that's an opportunity to get aggressive.
Yeah, I think at this point we also have to talk about the stakes. I mean, you talked about it that both these teams have already guaranteed themselves some prize money, but red right hand, you know, looking to lock themselves in a spot in the finals. Both these teams are, rather, but red right hand definitely with the advantage already with that first map, and a 4-1 on this one. You talk about the team that's waiting that finals as Foresight does pick up this first kill. It is that HK Rebels team that has been really, really dominant. So, you know, maybe like you said, if red hand, if they can keep up this play, they could really get a run for their money.
I will say red right hand looks a little bit less confident than they did during the first few rounds. Picked by Kronk, there it is. Sen off the board, and while MT has gone down, he's gonna go back up very quickly.
Oh.
Ooh. Aggression by BC.
Yeah, Kronk,
Excuse me.
taken
Aggression by
down
BC.
low.
Diffuser as well.
Yep, Diffuser down here. We'll see what they can do, though. Down 2 players now for red right hand. Outlast Game and Kronk again, gonna be low from that shot through the floorboards. We'll see if they can do anything on that low HP. Owen almost seeing out the foot of the player there, and we'll find out Foresight. So a double kill over towards Owen, and we'll go back up towards that roof area. See what the Dokkaebi can do going into this one. And Kronk again still pretty low going into the back half of this round. And again, 3v3, about 50 seconds where red right hand has been a little bit slow in this round. Like you said, a little bit less confident, seems like.
Kronk is on a sliver of HP, and both these players know where the other one is. No questions about it. Until Dokkaebi decides to step off for just a moment. Dokkaebi has some utility, might start tossing it up, but in any case, they're looking for another entrance, given the fact that Kronk still thinks that Dokkaebi is right there.
Yeah, Kronk's still thinking right there here. Only 20 seconds to go, though. Not a lot of time, but BZ's got all the time in the world with the kills here. Gotta pick up the other 2, though, as they're hiding in wait. Jolts is gonna be able to find one trade. Triple go from Diffuser, though, and we'll find it. Attackers. Man, red right hand. Diffuser is going crazy.
If it's not Sen, it's Diffuser. You said it yourself, and I have to say that I think you're right. 5-1. We've seen this happen before, but last time Red Right Hand was on the favored side. We're moving into defense for Red Right Hand. Is Outlast going to be able to penetrate into their defense, or is Red Right Hand just going to absolutely shut them down at every single turn? Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
We're going to have to see. They are bringing in Echo. Curious about that. It might simply be for the fact that, I mean, let's just be realistic. We are in an intel-heavy meta. That's true. You're able to get intel on your opponents, be that by listening for them, by face-checking something, or by using an Echo drone or default cams. You're more than likely going to be able to find an advantage if you actually take that firefight. Red Right Hand so far seems more willing to take those firefights and more willing to gather that intel.
Yeah, and they're really using that information to the best of their ability. And you talk about Sen, we've talked about this player. I mean, we can talk about the score line of Diffuser, 14-2 on this game, kind of replicating what Sen did last game. Both these players, like to talk about, popping off, nuts. And Sen put on the Oryx here to go out and roam.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
I mean, why not? After all, why not?
Yeah.
Why shouldn't I put on the Oryx? Oh, that's why.
Oh, that's why.
Empty. First pick. That's sent off the board, although it's going to get traded out pretty fast by Diffuser, but Deity trades it once more. Leaving Outlast Gaming in a small advantage and with your Warden off the board, so there's not going to be any ability to deny any of those not Diffuser, any of those flashes. Later on in the round, when Smutil comes through, rather instead, Schmink is going to be using his guns to deny that. Kronk off the board based on the intel gathered by an Echo drone. Like I mentioned, you get that intel, you get aggressive off of it, you make the play off of it, there it is.
Yeah, Schmink with a shot there to even out the scoreboard. BZ takes another round where you took out the roamer early. You had the advantage for Outlast Gaming. Bursted down by that information that they gathered, and it's all down to 2 players, and they have 2 minutes to hold. Again, Red Right Hand, the early aggression gives them this early lead in the round. See what they do with it. They have a lot of time to force out these players.
Outlast has been doing a pretty good job of finding the first little bit of the round, but then Red Right Hand has a response to it every single time. And Outlast just seems like they don't expect Red Right Hand to start getting aggressive when they're down players, which is a little goofy, if I'm going to be entirely honest, right? You see a downed or a cornered animal, they're going to fight back, so that's what Outlast should be expecting. Didn't happen this time, rather instead Red Right Hand has given themselves the advantage. Because Outlast seems unprepared and a little confused on what to do right now, opening all the way up from the top floor, afraid that there could be a roamer somewhere around Green Hall. Oh no. Walk at him. Go kill him. That's all you need to do.
Right.
It's just an FPS.
It's just an FPS, guys. That's all it is. But for Red Right Hand, it's 50 seconds on the board. Still a player advantage for them, and Jolt's still trying to go down the stairs, trying to look for something, but it's like you said, not able to clear them out. The information gathered here from Red Right Hand is good, but they have used that minute and 30 that we talked about from the 2 minutes to get in a little bit further, but they are running out of time. This is the time where they need to go aggressive, where they've been good at getting aggressive. And there it is. Look at that. Schmink able to take them down. Outlast Gaming, they need to get this diffuser down because it is dropped. It is done, and probably the round is done as well.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Those echo cams have been so influential in just gathering intel, and even now they know exactly where Joddles is going to be coming from. Joddles does find Schmink, but there's going to be 2 more players. A direct crossfire that he's going to have to walk through. Prone player BZ stands up, finds the shotgun kill. Red Right Hand is on match point. They could be replicating their scoreline from Villa, which was a 7-1. This hurts. This hurts to watch.
Yeah, this is tough. It's again, it's like we've said, it's kind of like a broken record, but it keeps happening over and over and over again. They get the first kill, they get advantage, and then they blow it. Ugh. Timeout though for Outlast Gaming. Hopefully they can talk it over. This is a timeout that is pretty much required for them because obviously, like you said, they lose one more round. It's all over. The best of 3 is over. The series is over. and we'll have our second team decided for grand finals. But if they can find a way to come back, if they can talk it over in this timeout, off their last timeout, they did take a round win in their last series, but they need a couple more than one.
Yeah, they're going to need 5 in a row, and many people would say that this is way too late to take a timeout. There is something to be said about the fact that Outlast has now gathered as much information as Red Right Hand as they can while still losing rounds. So they're going to have an opportunity to actually utilize that information, talk amongst themselves for a minute. Exactly 1 minute, in fact. And hopefully they'll realize that, hey, we need to find these players. We need to expect the aggression. We need to fight first. We can't wait for them.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs
We'll
as they
see.
can.
We'll see.
We'll see.
They've got an opportunity, not a big one.
They have an opportunity, but then also you got to think about on the other side, 15-3, Defuser coming into this round, looking to destroy all of their plans. Like we talked about, those 6-1 right now, Red Right Hand. If they win one of the next 5, the series is over. They'll take the dub on this Oregon map. So we'll see what Outlast Gaming can do. Hopefully they talked it over in the timeout. Let's see what they can do in this round number 8.
I don't want to jinx anyone, but looking at the score line, Outlast looks pretty even. Red Right Hand, I mean, obviously they've got Diffuser, 3 5s, and then 0-3.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
I'm sure Owen is really tired of hearing, haha, Owen number. But I mean, let's just be real. To be fair, there's not a whole lot that you have to do when you have, as was mentioned previously, literally John Wick on your team in the form of Diffuser.
And Owen's had plays last match too.
True.
Like it's when
He is a
it's
talented
when
player.
like when there's so much talent on a team, there always has to be maybe a player that isn't showing up every game. But just because you aren't showing up doesn't mean that your team is not slaying out right here. And still 3 assists as well. So we'll see if Owen can maybe pick up some good kills in this last round, possibly for Red Right Hand. Is starting on out a very aggressive push, and it is a slaughterhouse here. 4 players down for Outlast Gaming. Make it 5, make it a flawless, and Red Right Hand punch their ticket to the finals.
The response time there was absolutely brutal. There was no opportunity for Outlast to get anything off, less than 3 or 4 seconds. And suddenly the round's over. Outlast had a plan. Red Right Hand, I don't think they even read into that plan, but they just won every single firefight. That was nuts. Like the actual response, the ability to just turn around and shoot the player. I mean, just that kill on the Amaru, you hear the Amaru and you're like, oh, they're rushing. And then kill everyone.
They're rushing.
That was nuts.
Yeah.
Red Right Hand is looking really solid, and they will be moving into the grand finals.
Yeah, and I actually somewhat like the call from Outlast Gaming, but they just didn't win the gun duels. They wanted to go super uber aggressive there to finish it out, but they just couldn't find it. Red Right Hand was doing Red Right Hand things, playing a perfect defense, playing the aggressive defense, and shutting that down as soon as they wanted to walk in.
Red Right Hand, bravo, really incredible. Outlast won a round. It was right at, maybe I should have ranted more.
Yes, should have ranted more. Then they would have heard you and been like, oh, we don't want to be yelled at.
We don't want Coach Yally yelling at us.
Right.
Oh no.
No.
But this, I mean, yeah, like I literally look at that moment right there. Diffuser went absolutely nuts. Literally, what was it, 18-3? It's a 6.0. That is just a crazy score line.
That's a tough round to watch. That's a tough map to watch. Tough series, honestly, I would have to say. For Outlast Gaming, obviously, like we talked about, still good job. I mean, still good job to make it to where they did. Obviously, still going to walk home with some prize money for themselves. But for Red Right Hand, they've got a date in the finals with HK Rebels. And that match is going to be actually, I think, really exciting. We've talked about the dominance of HK Rebels, and honestly, not only on this stream today, but all throughout ever. I mean, they are really, really good. And I think it's actually going to be a good close match.
Yeah, I mean, there is a reason that they came in as the first seed, and they have been showing that reason this whole time. In any case, that grand finals match, don't go anywhere, because it's going to be here in a little while. 6 EST, 6 p.m. EST, Hong Kong Rebels versus Red Right Hand. 2 teams currently duking it out in SCS, now competing for their chunk of the $1,500 prize pool. We'll be back then. In the meantime, I've been Yali. I'm going to go ahead and get out of your hair. This was Llama. And we're going to have 2 brand new fresh casters on the desk for you. Really excited to bring you the grand finals.
I really, really miss you. I can't even start to fake it. But my mama always told me you gotta fake it till you make it. But you've been on my mind and I really can't take it, no. Say you gonna run away, but you meant from me. And I'm caught in my emotions, but you're not sorry. You said that I'm not right for you, and now it haunts me. Wish I was your ride or die. You lied, now I'm free. Run away from giving you all my time. I've been trying to find a way to run away. I've been tired of finding ways to hide, so now I need to run away. You've been lying, you got me dying inside, so now I want to run away. The back of my mind, the only place I can run and go escape to. Gotta find my escape now. Got me tired of the beat down. But I'm smiling through the pain and I'm crying for a change, 'cause my head